I get a heap of people ring me and ask me if I can take them to their PDA test. Never done any lessons with me, or in fact in a lot of cases I've never done any lessons at all with qualified driving instructors. So they ring up and they ask, you know, can I please take them to their PDA test, their practical driving assessment test. And in some cases they may even ring up and say, oh hello, yeah, I've booked my PDA test on Thursday at 9 AM, can you please take me? And this might be on a Monday or a Tuesday. Well, the bottom line is no, absolutely not, for a couple of reasons, but more often than not it's because we're basically too busy. And when I say we, driving instructors in general, you got to understand that at any given time we may have 30 or 40 students on the go, and of course, you know, if you've got 20, 30, 40 students that you've got going, well, those same students roll over into the following week and then the following week, and so it goes. So you can almost guarantee that if you ring on a Tuesday asking for a booking to do a PDA test on the Thursday, it's not going to happen, purely because there's just not the time to slot somebody in at such short notice. But the main issue is, gee, you know, I've done it many times, and it never ends well, where somebody will ring and say, oh hey, I've got my PDA in say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So it's not a time issue, but it's, can you please take me to my PDA test? So the conversation will be like, yeah, sure. What's your driving like? How many hours have you done? You've done your 50 hours, you've done your nighttime driving, you've done your hazard perception test. Great. Yeah, I'm a really good driver. I've been driving with mum, I've been driving with dad, I've done a nighttime drive, I've done it all. Okay, great. Can you park the car? Can you do the left something behind maneuver? Have you driven in Bunbury if you're doing your PDA in Bunbury? Oh, no, don't really know the maneuvers as such. I've just mainly been driving with mum and dad. I need you to teach me the maneuvers. Well, okay, so if I'm to take you to your PDA test in the morning, and we go and do a 1 hour lesson beforehand, it's not enough. It just is not enough time. I get it all the time, and I've done a few. I did one last week. Young fella, lovely young guy, really good driver actually, good driver, but it's just too rushed to be able to pick somebody up and say, yeah, let's go out for an hour's drive, and in that 1 hour I'm to show you how to do the left something behind maneuver, how to reverse bay park the car, how to forward bay park the car, drive you through Bunbury and show you and explain to you the nuances of the town, where, you know, potentially there are pitfalls that you could catch you out on your driving test, the merge lanes, the where the assessor's potentially going to take you to do the left something behind maneuver. It's just not enough time, So I have not had success with taking people to their PDA who just simply have not put in the homework. And when I say the homework, I'm not talking about their driving's fine. In most cases, I mean, I've had some that are absolutely atrocious, and yet, ironically, they think they're PDA ready, and they're not. They're definitely not. So, you really need 2 or 3 lessons. You've got to have at least 2 or 3 lessons. And that's been very optimistic in saying, if you've had 2 or 3 lessons, to have enough time to understand what's involved in the PDA test, to understand what driving through Bunbury is like. I've also had a few people who will ring me up and say, yeah, I've failed my test a couple of times up in Perth, or I've failed my test a couple of times down in Busselton, so I'm going to come to Bunbury and have a crack at it there. Okay, great. Have you ever driven in Bunbury before? No, never. Okay, well, you're not going to pass your test on the day. You cannot just turn up to a new town you've never driven in and expect that you're going to pass your test. You really need to do a good couple of hours of driving through town, in the town that you want to do your test in. So I've now made a blanket rule, like most of the other driving instructors in Bunbury, you've got to do at least 2 lessons. before you go for your PDA. If you want me to take you for your PDA, you're going to need to do at least 2 lessons with me. Because otherwise it's just not financially viable, and it's emotionally traumatizing. When you come to Bunbury, you expect you're going to do your PDA, you expect you're going to pass the first time. The likelihood is actually very slim that you're going to pass the first time if you haven't put in the work. And I can understand you want to save a few dollars, or that you're in a rush to try and get your license, but the bottom line is, rushing through to try and get your license is not going to help you. In fact, if anything, it's just going to put you under extra stress, extra anxiety, extra pressure, and you're going to make some silly little mistakes that you wouldn't otherwise make. And I've seen it happen dozens of times. It happens all the time. And saving money, you're not going to save money. I can almost guarantee that if you don't do the work, you're not going to pass your test. And so what that means is it's going to end up costing you a lot more money. Because let's break it down. You do your license, it's a double lesson with an instructor, whether it's me or anybody else. A double lesson is going to cost you somewhere between, say, $140, $150, something like that. If you don't pass your test, you need to rebook your test. And to rebook your test with the PDA Centre is about $90. So you think $90 plus $130, $150, whatever it is, you're looking at about $230, $240 to go and do it again. So why would you risk it and risk having to pay another $240 to do it again? Why wouldn't you rather just take 2 or 3 lessons so that you know you can go in and ace it on the day? And it's emotionally traumatizing because you go to the PDA Centre, you're all hyped, you probably didn't get much sleep the night before because you're excited about going for your test. So you're a little bit tired, you're a bit anxious, you're nervous, but you're also excited. So there's got a whole heap of emotions running through your body right now. You go to your PDA test and then you do something really dumb and you fail because you just didn't quite know what to do, or because you've tried to rush it. And so what happens then is you fail your test, and that's a huge emotional trauma. You'd be like, you've been told you don't get your license, it's going to cost you another 240 odd bucks to get another crack at it. It's a really devastating outcome, and it's not good for you, and it's not good for me. I don't feel good about taking anybody to the PDA Centre and coming home without a license. I would much prefer that all my students pass first go. Of course I would. It's good for them, it's good for me, it makes me feel good about my job, makes me feel good about the outcome of the day, and of course the ultimate is that you want to get your license on that day. So do yourself a favor, and rather than trying to rush through your license and ringing up an instructor, me or any other instructor, and saying, hey, I've booked my license on Tuesday, can you take me, and I'm PDA ready. No, much smarter to book 2 or 3 weeks in advance, 3 or 4 at least, so that you know that you can get a spot with somebody. Go for a lesson or 2 beforehand, just to make sure that you're gonna get everything covered off on. The left something behind manoeuvre, the stopping for shopping manoeuvre, the driving through Bunbury, making sure you understand the town and where the assessors are going to take you. A qualified instructor does this all day, every day, so they can show you exactly what the expectation is on you on your license test day. So rather than trying to cut corners, rather than trying to save time and money and trying to rush the thing through and putting yourself under extra pressure and stress, and extra financial stress as well, just do yourself a favor, book your test a few weeks out, ring around, get an instructor, me or anybody else, to come and take you for a couple of drives through town, show you what the expectation is on the day, and take you for your license when you're good and ready to do it.